Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Back over at the Woods Camp today, we are going to be doing the Bowyer's Workshop. Now, this is the thing I hinted about after completing the blacksmith. That will be our last infrastructure building. Now, because of how the blacksmith is positioned, we have to build it in a very specific way. It's going to be a L-shaped workshop with an attachment bedroom on the end. So this will be a residential as well. With this, we will have the correct total of people for, well, at the time, considered to be a small town. After we do the rest of the residential, of course. Right now, we are just a village. So this area is going to be stone brick walls because it's going to be the actual workshop component, and I'm going to be using smooth stone for a smoothed stone brick floor, or a smooth stone floor without it being raw, untreated stone. It does have a bit of seam in the middle, but that's about the price you pay. Okay, now these are going to be the two entrances to it. I'm going to have to terraform a path up here around the blacksmith because we're trying to use up all this space in the middle. And this is going to be fully oak planks with a door leading into here. I'm just going to raise up these areas with support pillars. And this is going to be another peaked roof, but it's going to be peaked in two ways because of the unique L shape. I've done one continuous peaked roof before. I'm going to show you a different one where the residential seems as though it's an add-on to an existing structure. But for the most part, yes, this is going to be very similar to the theme of just this village in general, with its own very specific construction standards, which is about standard. Everywhere you go, things are built differently by different people. Now I'm going to surround all these doors with stone brick and make sure they open up in the correct way. As for here, it will be continuing the pattern, but for the windows we're going to be going for a less industrial look. So it won't be fence windows, it'll be trapdoor windows, which I prefer for residential. So you see, this is what trapdoor windows look like, and they don't work as well. But in an industrial area like this, they do work better, because they look like industrial wood shutters, where this looks like standard open and closing window shutters. Now, this area up here for the actual workshop is going to come up 2 more blocks. And you'll see why in a moment. But for this area here, the residential, it's going to actually go down and stay at the level that it currently is. So I'm going to recess the bed into the floor again to have it one continuous level before doing the backdrop and the workstations. We're using white beds again because, again, this area has more limited dyes naturally available. But bone dye and even ink black are both very common. So this area is fishing for the most part. Now we're going to need a fletching table and a smithing table, because the fletcher would often, historically, smith his own small metal parts, such as the holding notch in the wires or string, the actual connectors to the wooden beams for the recurve, and other components. And over here we're going to have a chest of string, as that's how it was stored, and a barrel of sticks. There's no open texture barrel that we have in vanilla. You could put a composter, but then you couldn't actually use it as functional storage, so I'm just going to use a normal barrel with a placard above it to show what is in each. Sticks and string. And then there's lever, because often they would have lever grips and lever reinforcing down along the length of the wood, though it's not in the recipe in vanilla. Moving back here, time to start working on the roof. It's going to go up in a slope connecting to this area here, where this area, it's only going to be one stone block tall, but I'm going to put a second one there just to make it easier to actually set out the stairs. And I'm going to use the same log tie-in method that I've used before, though leaving it open on the inside to give a bit of a higher ceiling for this particular construction, just to not make it feel cramped, because it is going into a rather small corner. I'm going to be using spruce stairs again, because this place does not have access to deep slate like the other area does, though from like a gameplay standpoint it does. They have access to it as they are using a winch method to actually mine up their ores, and can bring rocks and ores from deeper out of the ground, where this region uses a quarry method to harvest stone and get ores through quarried tunnels and top-down mining. Just need to extend that a little. There we go. And move that forward. Now, producing bows in bulk is a rather difficult thing. So again, so just like the blacksmith, this will be a trained, skilled position, rather than a communal thing. And bows will most likely be reserved for just the guards of the village, as we don't have a need for hunters in bulk at the moment. There we go. Wooden shingles on a solid stone brick vaulted roof to ensure stability, and the wooden shingles to allow runoff easier so that water doesn't pool on the roof. And I'm going to show a couple of different methods. Now I'm going to use inverse stairs here to make it a more smooth transition, and I'm going to do that on both sides. There we go. And I'm actually going to bring this down another full block, the stairs I mean, in order to have a longer roof. Now this does give some problems, as now the tie-in beams are now back behind the shingles, so I'm gonna have to drag them out an extra block, and it goes close enough that it almost touches the blacksmith but just barely misses it. This is what the measuring for was about, to ensure that we still have enough space to do something like this. And over here we're gonna do the same thing again. Actually gonna trim this side first to make it a little easier. Whereas for the actual living quarters, we're going to be using oak slabs instead to allow for a more gradual cover. There we go. I'm actually going to do a full drop each, and then this last one is going to be extended. There we go. So it doesn't interact with the windows. Now you could cut off this area of wooden shingles to show that it's more of an extension. I think I might come back and just add one more stair there. The roof here is thinner, so later I'll have to come back and do another layer of slabs on the inside to prevent leaks when it rains, but for the most part that's complete. I'm going to use full logs just here to add a little bit more variation, and also have a full tie-in roof beam supported by solid stone bricks for the roof here. I'm just gonna pop a night vision potion an extended use one, so that you can see what I'm doing a little better. Because I want to do the lights just after this, because I want some on the roof. And I'm just going to pull the beam all the way through, so it can be supported by both brick walls on either side. I'm going to bring this down one, so that when you tie the stair in, it's like that. We'll play around with that a little more, but for the most part that's done. And now the front needs an extra actual log as well, right here, because I'm going to be doing a sign in the front, but lanterns first. So I'm going to put one at the end of each tie-in beam, like I usually do. You see the corners here are a bit longer, and I'm not going to bother with this area here. And then I need to put lanterns inside the actual structure so you can see without needing night vision. I'm going to put them there as a form of desk lamp, and then I need some in here as well. But I'll do that after, when I come back to do a bit more set dressing. Now you see there's lever stretching racks like this. Not the best design, but the one I was able to fit. And I'm going to add one just on the outside here as well, because this is another structure that would use a lot of lever. As right now, we are producing lever, but the people are just purchasing lever sheets and producing their own clothing from it. We don't have a big clothing area, but the lever is used for both blacksmithing and as handles for the bows. Now, the hanging sign, and by using glow ink, which we can get from the squids, and the white dye from bones, we can actually make the sign stand out a little more. So a Bower's workshop, gonna add a little comma there, so it's shown as a plural. Workshop. There we go. I'm going to hit this with white dye so it comes white, and glow ink so it stands out. And there we are. A Bower's workshop. Fully complete.